My brothers and sisters, how many more tears must fall before our hearts awaken? How many cries of the oppressed must reach our ears before we rise with courage? We scroll past genocide as though it were just another headline, yet every drop of blood cries out to us, demanding, where are you? Will you speak? Will you act? This is not a time for silence. This is not a time for excuses. This is the time for hearts to burn with justice and for voices to thunder with truth. My brothers and sisters, every generation has its trial. For some it was poverty, for others it was disease, for many it was war. And for us, part of our trial is to witness injustice on a scale that makes the heart tremble. We see images that pierce the soul. We hear stories that break us from within. We feel powerless at times because the magnitude of the cruelty seems beyond our reach. But do you know what Allah reminds us? He reminds us that no soul is burdened beyond what it can bear. If you are alive in this time, if you are seeing what you are seeing, if you are hearing what you are hearing, it means Allah has trusted you with a responsibility. You are capable of bearing it, you are capable of acting, and you are capable of responding in the way that pleases Him. Do not say, what difference can my small effort make? For indeed, every flood begins with a drop, every fire begins with a spark, every mountain is built from stones. Your effort may seem small to you, but to Allah it may be weightier than the world. Sometimes a single act of courage awakens an entire community. Sometimes a single word of truth unsettles an empire. Sometimes a single dua uttered in the depth of the night brings down a tyrant. Do not underestimate what Allah can do with your sincerity. My beloved brothers and sisters, when you see the cries of the oppressed, let your heart respond before your tongue responds. Let your heart soften before your hands act. If your heart is awake, you will never tire of calling upon Allah. You will never give up hope, even if the night seems endless. You will remind yourself that the one who split the sea for Musa, the one who protected Ibrahim from the fire, the one who saved Yunus from the belly of the whale, is the same one who watches over every oppressed soul today. He has not changed. His power has not diminished. His mercy has not ceased. He is waiting for us to turn to Him, to raise our hands, to weep in sujood, and to beg Him to intervene. And while you turn to Him, do not forget that dua is not a substitute for action. It is the spirit that fuels action. You must walk in the direction of your dua. If you ask Allah to ease the suffering of others, then be the means of easing their suffering, even in the smallest way. If you ask Allah to provide food for the hungry, then take a step to feed someone. If you ask Allah to bring relief to the oppressed, then dedicate your time, your effort, your voice, your resources towards that relief. Dua and action are like wings of a bird. Without both, you cannot fly. My brothers and sisters, oppression thrives when good people remain divided. The oppressors know this, which is why they work so hard to sow division, to make us distrust one another, to make us fight over details, to make us waste energy on disputes. Do not fall for this trap. Your brother's silence is not your enemy. Your sister's restraint is not your opponent. The real enemy is the one dropping bombs on the innocent, the one occupying homes, the one denying people food, water, and medicine. Do not turn your frustration against your own people. Channel it towards the oppressor. Use your energy wisely. Unite on what is clear, that oppression is wrong, that genocide is evil, that justice is a duty, that mercy is an obligation. Sometimes, my brothers and sisters, the greatest struggle is not on the battlefield but in our own souls. It is the struggle to remain patient when anger consumes us. It is the struggle to remain hopeful when despair surrounds us. It is the struggle to stay united when division tempts us. These inner battles are as important as the outer battles. For if we lose the battle within, we will never win the battle outside. Guard your heart against hatred. Guard your tongue against slander. Guard your mind against despair. Keep your faith firm that Allah's promise is true. Indeed, the help of Allah is near. And remember, my beloved brothers and sisters, justice is not only demanded when we see genocide. Justice begins in our homes. If you want to stand for the oppressed across the world, then start by being just with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your neighbors. Do not be harsh with your family and then claim to weep for strangers. Do not ignore the needs of those closest to you and then raise slogans for those far away. Justice is a light that begins within and radiates outward. If you establish justice in your own circle, you will have the strength to fight for it elsewhere. Many of us think change requires something extraordinary, but the truth is change begins with ordinary acts repeated with sincerity. Teach your children about compassion. Teach them about standing for the truth, even when it is unpopular. Teach them about the history of the oppressed so that they never grow numb to injustice. Teach them that their voices matter, their actions matter, their dua matters. If every home raises children of conscience, then oppression will find no ground to survive. My brothers and sisters, the oppressors rely on fear. They want to intimidate you into silence. They want to make you believe that you are too small, too weak, too insignificant to matter. But remember, fear is a weapon that only works if you accept it. When you place your trust in Allah, fear loses its grip. When you believe that life and death are in His hands, no tyrant can frighten you. When you know that provision comes from Him alone, no threat of starvation can silence you. When you believe that honor belongs to Allah, no insult can shake you. Free yourself from fear by holding firmly to Allah, and you will find courage you never knew you had. And let us not forget, my brothers and sisters, that this world is a test. The suffering of the oppressed is a test for them, but it is also a test for us. Their cries are a mirror reflecting our own hearts. Will we be moved? Will we respond? Will we rise? Or will we continue with our lives as though nothing is happening? Each tragedy that reaches our ears is an invitation from Allah to prove our sincerity. Do not fail this test by turning away. Do not fail this test by numbing your heart. Do not fail this test by making excuses. Every act of oppression is recorded. Every act of resistance is also recorded. The scales of justice will not miss a single atom. Perhaps today the oppressors boast and laugh, but soon they will stand where their power means nothing. Their armies are gone, their wealth is worthless, and their arrogance turns into terror. They will face the oppressed whom they mocked. They will face the children whom they orphaned. They will face the elders whom they tortured. They will face Allah, the just, the most powerful, the one who never forgets. My brothers and sisters, when you feel powerless, remind yourself that the greatest revolutions in history often began with people who felt powerless. When Musa stood before Pharaoh, outwardly he was powerless. When the Prophet stood in Mecca surrounded by enemies, outwardly he was powerless. Yet their power was in their faith, their power was in their patience, their power was in their unwavering trust in Allah. And through that, Allah made the impossible possible. Do not let the size of the oppressor blind you to the power of the Creator. So rise, my brothers and sisters. Rise in prayer, rise in patience, rise in action. Be the one who comforts the grieving, who feeds the hungry, who raises awareness, who speaks the truth. Be the one who inspires courage in others. Be the one who refuses to normalize oppression. Be the one who keeps the flame of justice alive, even when the world tries to extinguish it. If you cannot do much, then do something. If you cannot move mountains, then move pebbles. If you cannot reach the masses, then reach your neighbor. And know that even if the world ignores the oppressed, Allah does not ignore them. Even if the world is silent, the heavens are not silent. The angels are recording, the cries are rising, and the justice of Allah is coming. It may not come when you want, it may not come how you expect, but it will come. And when it does, it will be perfect, for Allah never fails in His promise. My beloved brothers and sisters, do not be paralyzed by waiting for others to act. Do not be distracted by who has spoken and who has not. Do not waste your energy blaming. Instead, spend your energy building. Build awareness, build compassion, build resistance, build a generation that fears none but Allah and loves justice more than comfort. If you focus on what is in your control, Allah will take care of what is beyond your control. If you fulfill your duty, Allah will fulfill His promise. And His promise is always true. My brothers and sisters, think about the power of the heart when it is connected to Allah. A single heart that beats with sincerity, that bleeds for justice, that refuses to bow to tyranny is more powerful than the weapons of the oppressors. Weapons can destroy bodies, but they cannot destroy the truth. Armies can occupy lands, but they cannot occupy the conscience of the believers. Prisons can silence voices, but they cannot silence faith. And history testifies to this reality. Every tyrant thought they would remain forever, and yet they vanished into the pages of shame, while the names of those who stood for truth are remembered with honor until today. My beloved brothers and sisters, the world may try to distract you with entertainment, with luxury, with endless pursuits that numb the heart. But you must resist the temptation to sleep while others are awake in pain. You must resist the urge to drown yourself in comfort while others struggle to survive. Do not become desensitized to suffering simply because you see it often. The constant images should not harden your heart, but should soften it even more. Each time you hear of a tragedy, treat it as a personal call to action. Say to yourself, this is my responsibility. This is my chance to prove my love for justice. This is my opportunity to stand where Allah loves to see me stand. And remember, my brothers and sisters, the most dangerous weapon of the oppressors is not their bombs or bullets. It is despair. If they can convince you that nothing will ever change, then they have already won. If they can convince you that your voice doesn't matter, your action doesn't count, your prayer doesn't reach, then they have already broken your spirit. And once the spirit is broken, no army is needed. But as long as hope lives in your heart, so long as faith lives in your soul, as long as you refuse to give up, then you remain undefeatable, even if the whole world stands against you. Do not be deceived into thinking that the value of your effort is measured by its immediate result. No, my brothers and sisters, the value of your effort is measured by its sincerity. Sometimes you plant seeds that you will never see grow. Sometimes you struggle for justice in your time, but the fruits will appear in the next generation. Sometimes you make a stand today, but the world will only realize its impact years after you are gone. What matters is not whether you see the change with your eyes, but whether you did your duty with your heart. For Allah sees every effort, even if people do not. My brothers and sisters, we live in a world where silence can be complicity, but not every silence is betrayal. Be wise in how you judge others, but be firm in how you judge yourself. Ask yourself, am I doing enough? Do not let the absence of another's voice become the excuse for the absence of your own. Do not let someone else's restraint become the justification for your inaction. On the day of judgment, you will not stand behind another person. You will stand alone. You will not be asked what others failed to do, but what you failed to do. So hold yourself accountable before you are held accountable. And my beloved brothers and sisters, understand that standing for the oppressed is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it is about consistency. Share awareness consistently. Pray consistently. Give charity consistently. Remind your family consistently. Educate your children consistently. Support causes consistently. A dripping tap fills a bucket, not by one big splash, but by steady drops. In the same way, justice is built by steady acts of conscience, repeated by millions of people. Do not belittle your consistency, for it is the weapon of the patient. My brothers and sisters, let your compassion not be selective. Do not choose to feel only for those who are from your people, your language, your race, your culture. Justice knows no borders. Compassion knows no nationality. Mercy knows no tribe. The oppressed are your brothers and sisters in humanity. If you stand only when those who resemble you are oppressed, then you have misunderstood the message of justice. True justice is when your heart aches for every innocent soul, no matter where they come from. True compassion is when your tears fall for strangers as they would for your own family. The oppressors thrive on division, not only among nations, but also within hearts. They want you to calculate whose life is worth more, whose suffering is worth more, whose tears are worth more. But the believer sees every soul as sacred, every tear as precious, every cry as worthy of attention. Stand with the oppressed universally, and you will find Allah standing with you. My brothers and sisters, let us not ignore the role of discipline in the struggle. Just as soldiers prepare for battle, you must prepare your soul for endurance. Wake up for prayer, even when it is difficult, for that will strengthen your resilience. Guard your tongue from falsehood, for that will sharpen your integrity. Restrain your desires from excess, for that will fortify your spirit. A disciplined soul is not easily swayed by propaganda, not easily broken by hardship, not easily manipulated by fear. If you wish to stand firm against tyranny, then train yourself to stand firm in the small battles of daily life. And let us remind ourselves that every form of resistance is valuable. Some resist with words, some resist with charity, some resist with education, some resist with protest, some resist with patience. Do not belittle the method of another so long as it is rooted in sincerity and truth. Just as the body needs many organs to function, the movement for justice needs many roles to thrive. Perhaps your role is not the stage, but the quiet dua of the night. Perhaps your role is not the front line, but the consistent education of the next generation. Whatever your role, embrace it fully, for Allah rewards not based on visibility, but based on sincerity. My beloved brothers and sisters, know that the struggle for justice is not only external, but also internal. Do not fight tyranny in the world while harboring tyranny in your home. Do not cry for the oppressed abroad while oppressing those close to you. Do not speak loudly against the crimes of others while ignoring your own. The most powerful activists are those whose private lives are aligned with their public messages, whose hearts are purified of arrogance, whose tongues are free from lies, whose actions are consistent with their calls. Strive for inner justice as much as outer justice, and you will become unshakable. And remember, my brothers and sisters, every trial is temporary. The nights may seem long, but dawn always comes. The oppressor may seem invincible, But history shows otherwise. The oppressed may seem forgotten, but they are never forgotten by Allah. The winds of change may be slow, but they are unstoppable. Do not measure success by the speed of victory, but by the steadfastness of your heart. Allah's plan unfolds in perfect timing, not your timing. Trust Him when He delays, trust Him when He withholds, trust Him when He gives, and trust Him when He tests. When you see a people being slaughtered, ask yours. Elf, am I alive to their pain? When you hear of families torn apart, ask yourself, am I contributing to their relief? When you witness lies being spread to justify crimes, ask yourself, am I raising my voice for the truth? Each tragedy is a mirror held up to your soul, showing you what you truly value. Do not allow the mirror to expose negligence. Let it expose your courage, your mercy, your compassion, your action. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest dangers in times of oppression is fatigue. You may feel overwhelmed, you may feel exhausted, you may feel numb, but do not let fatigue become surrender. Rest if you must, but do not quit. Take breaks if you must, but do not abandon the cause. Even prophets rested, even the strongest hearts wept, even the most patient souls trembled. Fatigue is human, but surrender is not an option for the believer. Renew your intention, refresh your spirit, seek strength in prayer, and return to the struggle with new determination. And finally, my brothers and sisters, realize that your very existence in this moment of history is no accident. Allah chose you to be alive at this time for a reason. You could have been born in another century, in another land, in another situation. But you are here now witnessing what you are witnessing. That means Allah entrusted you with this responsibility. He believes you have something to contribute. Do not underestimate your place in this grand design. Perhaps you are the answer to someone's dua. Perhaps your action today is the turning point in a struggle. Perhaps your words are the spark that lights a fire of hope. Believe that Allah placed you here for a purpose and then live every moment fulfilling that purpose with sincerity. My brothers and sisters, reflect deeply on the meaning of trust in Allah. To trust Him is not to sit idle and say Allah will fix everything while your hands remain folded and your voice remains silent. True trust in Allah is to strive with every ounce of your ability to give everything you can and then to surrender the result to Him, knowing that His plan is better than yours. Trusting Him means planting the seed even if you may never see the fruit. It means fighting for justice even if victory does not come in your lifetime. It means refusing to give up even when the odds are against you, because you know that Allah is greater than any odds. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the greatest weapons in the hands of the oppressed is unity. Look at the strength of a rope. A single strand can be snapped easily, but when many strands are woven together, the rope becomes unbreakable. In the same way, a divided people will always be weak before an oppressor. But a united people, even if small, can never be defeated. So do not allow pride, ego, or trivial disputes to break you apart. Stand together for the cause of justice, and you will be like a mountain that cannot be moved. But unity, my brothers and sisters, requires humility. It requires that you put aside the need to always be right, the desire to always be seen, the craving to always be heard. Unity means sometimes stepping back to let another step forward. It means sometimes giving up your own opinion for the greater good. It means remembering that the fight is not about you. It is about the oppressed. It is about justice. It is about humanity. If you truly care about the cause, then your ego will have no place in the struggle. And my brothers and sisters, when you feel that your efforts are small, remind yourself of the story of the bird that tried to put out the fire that engulfed Ibrahim, the bird Kar. Eyed drops of water in its tiny beak, while others mocked, saying, "What difference will that make?" But the bird replied, "At least Allah will know on which side I stood." Your efforts may seem small, but they declare to Allah where your heart stands. Do not belittle them, for when enough drops are poured, even the fiercest fire begins to weaken. The oppressors rely on the illusion of power. They appear strong, but their strength is built on fear, lies, and corruption. Such foundations are always weak. Do not be deceived by the size of their armies, the weight of their wealth, or the reach of their propaganda. All of it can crumble in a moment if Allah wills. Pharaoh had armies, wealth, and power, yet a single wave destroyed him. Namrud thought he controlled the world, yet a single mosquito humbled him. The lesson is clear. No tyrant, no matter how mighty, can escape the justice of Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, oppression is not only about bombs and bullets. Oppression is also the denial of dignity, the silencing of voices, the rewriting of history, the spreading of lies, the stealing of hope. That is why your role is not only to weep for the oppressed, but to preserve their dignity, to amplify their voices, to tell their stories, to expose the lies, and to keep hope alive. Do not let the narrative of the oppressor be the only one that is heard. Be the echo of the oppressed until their cries reach every corner of the earth. And know, my brothers and sisters, that when you stand for justice, you will face resistance. People will mock you. People will discourage you. People will even accuse you. They will call you naive. They will call you extreme. They will call you misguided. But remember, every prophet was mocked. Every messenger was ridiculed. Every reformer was opposed. If you are being criticized for standing with the oppressed, then you are in good company. Let their criticism strengthen you, not weaken you. Let their insults remind you that the path of truth has never been easy, but it has always been worth it. Patience, my brothers and sisters, is not passive. Patience is active endurance. It is to keep going when you are tired. It is to hold firm when you are pressured to let go. It is to smile with hope when others drown in despair. Patience is not simply waiting for things to change. Patience is continuing the struggle without giving up. And Allah promises that He is with those who are patient. If He is with you, then what more could you possibly need? My brothers and sisters, you must also prepare your children for this responsibility. Teach them to recognize injustice, to feel compassion, to speak truth, to value courage. Let them grow up knowing that their voices matter, that their actions matter, that their prayers matter. Teach them the history of those who stood against oppression so they know that they are part of a long chain of resilience. If you plant these seeds in their hearts, then even if the oppressors succeed in silencing us today, the next generation will rise with voices louder, stronger, and purer. And let us not forget the power of generosity. Every coin you give, every morsel you share, every effort you contribute becomes a shield for the oppressed. Never think your donation is too small. A drop of water may not quench thirst on its own, but when combined with others, it becomes a river. Do what you can with what you have, and Allah will multiply it for you in ways you cannot imagine. Perhaps the coin you give with sincerity will be the very reason Allah sends relief to an entire community. My beloved brothers and sisters, beware of falling into despair. Despair is a tool of shaitan. He wants you to believe that your efforts are useless, that the oppressors will never be defeated, that nothing will ever change. But despair is a denial of Allah's power. Did He not split the sea? Did He not cool the fire? Did He not bring life to the dead? Then why would you think He cannot bring justice to the oppressed? Hold on to hope, for hope is faith in action. As long as hope remains alive, the struggle continues and victory remains possible. And remember, my brothers and sisters, justice is not a favor we give to others. It is an obligation upon us. To remain silent in the face of injustice is to betray our own values, to betray our humanity, to betray our covenant with Allah. Every time you speak the truth, you are not only defending the oppressed, you are defending your own soul. Every time you act against injustice, you are not only helping others, you are saving yourself from the weight of negligence. The world may try to normalize oppression, to make it seem routine, to make you scroll past it without feeling. Resist this normalization. Refuse to allow the suffering of others to become background noise in your life. Keep your heart alive. Cry when you see injustice. Pray when you hear of suffering. Act when you witness cruelty. A heart that feels is a heart that is alive, and a heart that is alive will never be content with oppression. My brothers and sisters, history remembers the courageous, not the comfortable. When future generations read about these times, they will ask, where were you? What did you do? Did you speak or did you remain silent? Did you act or did you turn away? Make sure your answer is one that you can be proud of. Make sure your story is one of courage, mercy, and action. For what is life if it is not used to uphold justice, to defend truth, to protect the weak? And let us also remember the role of gratitude. While we strive for justice, let us be grateful for the blessings Allah has given us. Gratitude is not to ignore the suffering of others, but to use our blessings to ease their suffering. If you have freedom, use it to speak for those who are silenced. If you have wealth, use it to support those who are deprived. If you have health, use it to serve those who are struggling. Gratitude without action is empty, but gratitude with action becomes a powerful force for good. My beloved brothers and sisters, know that the struggle for justice purifies the soul. It strips away selfishness, it removes arrogance, it destroys indifference. When you stand with the oppressed, you become more human, more compassionate, more connected to your purpose. You realize that life is not about chasing comfort, but about living with conscience. You realize that the true measure of success is not wealth or status, but the ability to stand firm for what is right, even when it costs you. And finally, my brothers and sisters, hold firmly to hope in Allah's promise. His justice is not delayed, it is precise. His timing is not late, it is perfect. His wisdom is not lacking, it is complete. Continue your struggle with patience, with sincerity, with perseverance. For every tear that falls is counted. Every effort you make is recorded. Every sacrifice you offer is known. And when the time comes, the relief of Allah will descend, and it will be more beautiful than anything you could have imagined